In the aftermath of their harrowing encounter with the Ulgerstasta in the Apostle Caves, our intrepid heroes, fueled by determination and the lead from Zul'Shan, set their sights on the heart of darkness itself, the lair of Dragotha and potentially Cuse. Their journey led them down the gorge, following the river's serpentine path until they reached the ominous expanse of Death Valley. This desolate land, with its black stone and eerie silence, seemed deceptively empty until they encountered an anomaly. Several floating tears in the very air, pulsating with a mysterious energy. As the heroes cautiously approached, their senses alert, the tranquility was shattered. Ambush! From the towering cliffs above and the earth below, creatures torn from the far realms and mind-killer scorpions launched a ferocious assault. The battle that ensued was nothing short of epic. Sasha, with her keen strategic mind, created distance to cast her powerful spells, while Drenger and Fanlun leaped into the fray with unmatched bravery. The rents in the air seemed to like with power from the far realm, enhancing their enemies while threatening the heroes' resolve and sanity. The fight teetered on the edge of despair, especially when one of the far realm's beasts resurrected a fallen mind-killer scorpion, threatening to turn the tide. Yet, through sheer will and prowess, our heroes emerged victorious. With the battle behind them, their journey took a darker turn as they discovered the entrance to Cuse's Maw, a gateway into the depths of the Underdark. Delving deep into the earth, they stumbled upon an immense cavern, a natural wonder transformed into a sight of unspeakable evil. At its heart lay a castle, a fortress of nightmares, its architecture defiled by 4 sinister towers and a central installation, channeling a waterfall of glowing green goo that emerged from a rift in the ceiling of the cave, positioned exactly above the fortress. This vile substance, collected and distributed to the towers, cascaded down to form a moat of corruption, its edges teeming with millions Caius's worms, who seemed to be feeding on the stuff, a sight both horrifying and mesmerizing. Undeterred, the heroes strategized their next move. Ignoring the ominous gap in the cave's ceiling, they opted for a direct approach. Harnessing the power of Sasha's fly spell, they soared over the moat, evading the writhing mass of worms below. Their destination, the castle's lone entrance. Upon parting the ancient double doors, the heroes were met with a grand chamber, its high ceilings buttressed by eldritch pillars, inscribed with mystical runes that throbbed with malevolent light. To their left, an imposing statue of a being with an octopus-like visage loomed ominously, its tentacles draped in the sickly glow of the green slime that pooled at its base. The room, a temple hall of nefarious design, was not unguarded. Arrayed before them stood the sons of Cuse, grotesque undead with worms writhing from their skulls, some brandishing worm-bladed weapons, accompanied by 2 most abhorrent creatures, their bodies composed of writing worms and wearing white masks to cover their inhuman faces. The clash was immediate and fierce. Thunderballs roared and warriors' steel sang as the heroes fought valiantly, felling many of the undead. But the battle took a grim turn as the octopus-headed statue's baleful eyes emitted a virulent green light, animating the fallen enemies anew. The heroes' attacks, though mighty, could not halt the relentless tide of regeneration. In a desperate act, Fanlun, driven by his dwarven valor, struck the statue with his battle axe, shattering one of its vile eyes but suffering a dreadful curse that racked his mind with torment. Yet his stout heart prevailed, and he fought on, even as the corrosive slime of the pool around the statue gnawed at his flesh. Invoking the power of his frost rune, he arrested the slime's advance, offering a brief respite from its eroding touch. Though their foe's resurgence was slowed, the statue's other eye continued its dark work. Sasha, seizing the moment, unleashed a disintegrating force upon the statue, destroying it but briefly succumbing to the same madness that had befallen Fanlun. With the enemy still relentless, Fanlun, grappling with his own cursed affliction, called for a tactical withdrawal. The heroes, trusting in their companion's judgment, hastened to the northwestern exit. Their retreat was not a concession of defeat, but a regrouping. a pause in the symphony of battle that would crescendo once more when they returned. Strategies honed and resolve steeled to face the dark heart of Kius's unholy sanctuary. Gathered in the narrow corridor, the heroes swiftly convened, wisdom dictating that advancing further without addressing the foes at their back spelled certain doom. With a plan hastily forged, they steeled themselves and burst back into the fray. Illican, with flames at his command, unleashed torrents of fire, while Aurora, channeling the divine light of Foltus, rained down radiant energy. She noted, with a strategist's eye, the pillars absorbing the celestial light, yet her spells still held sway over the creatures that dared to follow them into the corridor. Spreading out to cover more ground, the party focused their might on the most formidable of their adversaries, the larva mage and larva priest. Through the chaos, Illican's inferno proved crucial, searing the enemies enough to prevent their vile resurrection. Licking their wounds and contemplating their drained resources, the heroes elected for a tactical retreat. Illican's magic summoned forth a majestic red dragon, upon which they ascended, escaping the ghastly moat and the innumerable Kius worms that swarmed the cavern floor. They found sanctuary within a cave, marked by the stench of deceased wyverns. Here they rested, allowing Aurora's healing grace to mend their bodies and minds, restoring Fainlun's grip on sanity. Once recuperated, they descended once more into Caius's maw, using a new dragon summoned by Illican to cross the worm-infested moat and re-entering the Tabernacle's entrance hall, now slightly repopulated with a cadre of sons of Kius that fell swiftly to their renewed vigor. In a crescendo of destruction, Aurora turned her attention to the pillars, their combined efforts bringing down the stone sentinels and the dark magic they harbored. Their exploration led them to a deceptive parlor of luxury, where Drengar was tricked into consuming what seemed like a delicacy, but was in fact an illusion masking vile undead remains. Behind the curtain to the North Stray Dog's keen senses revealed another entity, and when he peeled back the drapes, he revealed a chamber of soft walls and floors that mimicked dead flesh. It was here they encountered Mahudril, a figure known to the heroes from Mage Prince Lacuster festivities, now revealed as a guardian of Dragotha's domain. The confrontation was fierce, and though Mahudril transformed into a grotesque creature and initially escaped their wrath, the heroes pursued with relentless determination. They crossed a green corridor of illusions, a treacherous path hitting crawling worms, and with agility, magic, and might, they navigated through the deceptive terrain to confront Mahudril once more in the keep's northeastern tower. The battle that ensued was perilous, with Dermon nearly losing his hands to her lethal claws. But united and empowered, the heroes' spells and blades sang true, and they stood victorious over the monstrous guardian, their resolve unshaken, their quest unyielded. Having thwarted Mahudril, the heroes' investigation of the tower room uncovered a strange, cage-like device wrought from an almost sentient metal, suspended above an abyss that twinkled with enigmatic lights. Despite their efforts and Stray Dog's skills, the contraption's workings eluded them, prompting a decision to delve deeper into the sinister depths rather than dwell on this enigma. Their path led them to an immense cavernous expanse, where the abomination known as a wormdrake lurked, a vile fusion of dragon and worm, sightless yet formidable, hoarding treasure below. With no room for hesitation, they took to battle on the back of Illican's summoned dragon, plunging into combat with the grotesque guardian. The wormdrake's assault was savage, unleashing necrotic breath that ravaged flesh and spirit alike. Yet the heroes stood fast. Drengar delivered crushing blows, Dermon sought strategic vantage, and the others rained down arcane destruction. The monster wailed in pain from wounds inflicted, and, as if answering its call, portals to the far realm tore open, and several horrific purple worms the size of elephants joined the fray. Aurora's holy aura shone like a beacon, bolstering their offense and defense as they fought back the tide of writhing horror. But as the wormdrake fell, the battle's balance tipped perilously against them. The purple worms were relentless, and while Aurora hid herself from their attacks inside the stone of the cave, Stray Dog fell to their fanged mouths before the heroes could rally and vanquish their foes. In the aftermath of their harrowing battle with the Wormdrake, amidst the exhaustion and relief of victory, the heroes' attention was drawn to the amassed treasure that lay beneath the beast. It was not merely a hoard of gleaming coins that caught their eye, but rather a collection of artifacts, each with its own aura of power and mystery. Among the spoils, Drengr discovered a peculiar robe, its length adorned with motifs of stars. This was no ordinary robe, for it possessed the remarkable ability to transport its user to the astral plane. Recognizing its value and potential, Drengr claimed it, pondering the adventures that lay beyond the material realm. Another treasure unearthed was a belt of exquisite beauty, crafted from ice crystals that shimmered with an otherworldly light. This belt was no mere ornament. It bestowed upon its wearer a formidable strength and was promptly claimed by Stray Dog. Among the hoard, a finely wrought staff was found, its craftsmanship unparalleled. This staff held the power to charm those who stood against its wielder, a tool of both diplomacy and battle. Lastly, Dairman laid claim to a miniature statue of a bronze griffin who could be called upon to transform into a loyal steed of monstrous size and strength. With everyone battered and spent, they healed their wounds and erected a temporary camp amidst the desolation. Sasha's Dome of Force provided a barrier against the dark, and Aurora's cup offered restorative solace, granting them a momentary reprieve in a realm that knew little peace. Here they would recover, fortify, and reflect on their journey, a testament to their indomitable will and unyielding courage. In the solemn quiet that followed their skirmish with the Wormdrake, Stray Dog stood sentinel while his companions succumbed to the embrace of restorative slumber. Amidst the silence, he observed a small contingent of the sons of Caius infiltrating the cavern from the western exit. They prowled the gloomy expanse but retreated as silently as they had arrived. Opting for discretion, Stray Dog kept this vigil to himself. Revitalized from their repose and eager to unravel the depths of their perilous environment, the heroes set their sights on the cavern's lower entrance. It revealed a shaft awash in dripping, caustic green slime, a direct conduit from the castle's vile heart that fed the slime to the four towers and spilled its excess into this very well that descended far into the depths below. Sasha, wielding her arcane prowess, dispatched an arcane eye to pierce the darkness, and unhindered by the corrosive slime, the arcane eye descended into a vast, shadowy cavern. It glided over rocky terraces and streams of slime cascading into the abyss, until it discovered, nestled in the cavern's northeastern reach, a chamber that bore the marks of hasty desertion. Luxurious remnants hinted at recent occupation, and amidst the detritus, scales of silver hinted at Lashana's presence. The significance of these scales and Lashana's ties to this forsaken place remained a mystery yet to be unraveled. Further exploration revealed unsettling signs of life, or rather, unlife. Beneath a pool of green slime, large entities stirred, hinting at dangers lurking beneath the surface. This knowledge, borne back to the surface by Sasha's returning arcane eye, served as a grim reminder of the threats that still awaited them. Sasha dispatched her arcane eye once more, this time in a new direction, and it entered a sanctum of sorts, lit by the sickly glow of torches ensconced in twisted sconces. At the heart of this room, sinuous tendrils of dark green slime, thick and pulsing, creep across the ground, and to the south, the eye spotted a round plate of silver filigree above which floats a carved skull, purple gems in its hollow eye sockets glowing in the void. The upper walls, lined with niches and recesses, held a quartet of heavy doors, while right beside the entrance, twin columns made of crystal tubes with flowing green slime hidden beneath stone ribs rose from the earth. All the entrances and exits to the chamber were guarded by sons of Caius, while a white-masked larvae mage stood in the chamber's center, flanked by two of the more formidable swords of Chios. The heroes decided to focus on taking down the larva mage first, and Sasha excited Drengr by promising him a haste spell if he did as they told him. However, the enemy was even quicker to respond as they burst into the chamber. The larva mage attempted to dominate the formidable dwarf barbarian, but Sasha's foresight thwarted the spell, advising Drenger to avert his gaze just in time. The Sons of Kyus moved to block the heroes, while the Swords of Kyus positioned themselves to protect the larva mage. Aurora summoned spirit guardians, which wreaked havoc on the Sons of Kyus that dared approach. Drangor, empowered by the haste spell, charged at the larva mage with Stray Dog, quick on his heels. However, both were ensnared by the chamber's tendril-laden floor, leaving them vulnerable to the relentless assault of their foes. Stray Dog, in particular, was brutally hit by several enemies and teetering on the brink of defeat until Ilikan's intervention gave him another fighting chance. The battle's dynamics shifted when the heroes noticed the pillars. The sources of the green slime begin to glow, signifying the regeneration of their fallen enemies. An initial attempt to destroy these sources with fire proved futile, but Sasha's Thunderball spell revealed their vulnerability, cracking the crystal tubes. A second Thunderball shattered them completely, disrupting the regeneration process and tipping the scales in the heroes' favor. As they pressed their advantage, the larva mage cast a swarm of worms that blinded Drenger, hampering his combat effectiveness. Amidst the chaos, an oddly comical moment unfolded as a skull, previously feared to be a source of magical interference, began commenting on the battle, expressing a desire to have its blindfold removed and to understand what was happening. Its inquiries, juxtaposed against the intensity of the fight, left the heroes momentarily bemused, unsure of how to respond to such an unexpected distraction. With the pillars destroyed and their enemies no longer able to regenerate, the heroes focused their efforts on the remaining Sons of Kyus and the larva mage, ultimately securing their victory. Victorious, yet weary, the heroes turned their attention to the enigmatic floating skull, a relic amidst the ruins that claimed to be Overking Jiiranen of the great kingdom of Eerie, believed to have perished centuries ago. Its assertions of blindness, despite its lack of eyes, and royal decrees spoken into the void of the chamber, painted a surreal picture. The skull's calls to Foltest were met with a mix of curiosity and caution. Ultimately, unsure of how to deal with such an artifact, they secured it within Sasha's portable hole for later deliberation. Their exploration led them to the 4 securely locked doors within the chamber. 2 revealed nothing but emptiness, but behind one they found Balakard, the wizard for whom they had been searching, in a dire state. With quick compassion, Aurora revitalized him with water from the cup of St. Nicodemus, and as he was brought forth from his confinement, he shared his harrowing tale of imprisonment and interrogation by Dragotha. Balakard revealed crucial insights. Dragotha's lair lay beyond the shaft they had yet to explore, and the Dracolich's strength, as well as his Achilles' heel, was tied to a dragon orb and his subservience to Kyus. This orb, he explained, granted Dragotha dominion over dragons, drawing upon their power and beckoning them to his will. Intrigued by the mention of dragon orbs, the heroes listened as Balakard recounted the legends of Tiamat and Bahamut, 2 primordial beings whose conflict and unity gave birth to these powerful artifacts. These orbs, born from the mingled blood of the deities, possessed the capacity to control dragons, with anyone who gathered all 5 gaining supreme command over these majestic creatures. Dragotha's conflict with Tiamat, Balakard disclosed, was sparked by his theft of the Orb of Strength, associated with black and bronze dragons from Tiamat herself. This act of defiance not only emphasized Dragotha's ambition, but also highlighted the intricate web of power, betrayal, and ancient magic that the heroes found themselves entangled in. In the final cell of their grim exploration, the heroes encountered a Darrow, who proclaimed himself as a former captain of the guard within Dragotha's castle. His arrogance and disrespect quickly soured any potential for dialogue, leading to an abrupt and lethal confrontation initiated by Drenger's decisive headbutt, followed by the Darrow's swift execution. This act underscored the heroes' resolve and the high stakes of their mission. There was no room for treachery or deceit in their quest. Emboldened and determined to leave no stone unturned within the upper echelons of the Tabernacle of Skulls, the party ventured southward, stumbling upon another tower harboring what the residents called the Wormlab. This sanctum, dedicated to the perverse study of life and death, housed a central pool emitting a sickly green glow, a cradle for the writhing masses of Kios's worms. The lab itself resembled a grotesque living organism, with organic tubes and glass canisters displaying the horrifying stages of the worm's mutations. Guarded by two larva priests shrouded in red robes and skull masks, the chamber stood as a testament to the unholy experiments conducted within. The Guardians, along with two sons of Caius, were quick to engage the intruders. In response, Drenger, enhanced by Sasha's haste spell, charged at one of the worm priests, while Stray Dog navigated the chaos with precision. Sasha and Illican unleashed fiery destruction upon the sanctum, although Illican's spells seemed to lose their potency, barely scathing their targets. Aurora, with unwavering focus, dispatched the two guards with efficiency. The situation escalated as the larva priests retaliated, conjuring a plague of worms and summoning far realm creatures from the activated central pool. Faced with these new threats, the heroes quickly adapted their strategy, recognizing the imperative to eliminate the larva priests to prevent the summoning of additional far realm entities. Concentrating their attacks, they managed to fell one priest and then the other, quelling the tide of far realm creatures that sought to overwhelm them. Having only one major section of the upper floors of the Tabernacle to explore, the heroes were momentarily thwarted by powerful rune-inscribed doors that resisted their every physical effort. Ingeniously, Sasha employed her magic to transform the surrounding walls into mud, causing the doors to lose their anchorage and topple, granting them access to a chamber of unexpected refinement. Illuminated by magical lamps and furnished with couches and tables, this reading room, adorned with towering bookshelves laden with volumes, promised knowledge and perhaps secrets of the dark forces they opposed. Sasha and Aurora, drawn to the promise of arcane and worldly wisdom, perused the collection, uncovering tomes of immense power, each capable of bestowing significant enhancements upon their readers. In an attempt to raise Drenger's interest in the subject, Sasha passed a random book to him to read, which just happened to be critical in enhancing her own abilities. Meanwhile, Stray Dog's keen senses led him to discover a movable bookcase that concealed a secret corridor, hinting at mysteries yet deeper within. Among the shelves, they found writings of Kios, an exploration into the dark arts and forbidden knowledge. These included treatises on vampirism, the sinister origins and powers of the worms, revelations of the god wound, and inquiries into draconic vampirism. Further, they found texts about the creation of the first Ulgerstasa sorcerer, the properties of malachite ore, and, most disturbingly, the entity beyond, where Caius's descent into madness was palpable. Venturing into the hidden passage revealed by Stray Dog, the heroes found a crypt sealed with ancient wards, its air thick with the weight of undisturbed centuries. Inside, they found a sarcophagus and, with caution, unveiled its occupant. A figure both majestic and terrifying, encased in crimson and emery armor, its skin ashen, its presence emanating an aura of hunger and eternal restlessness. The figure, holding a blade that seemed to pulse with dark life, raised itself from its prison and challenged their intrusion with a voice that bridged the chasm between the living and the eternal. Upon hearing the hero's intentions, the figure introduced himself as Kas, revealing a purpose intertwined with their own, to destroy Kios. This revelation marked a turning point in their journey, offering new alliances forged in the shadow of a common enemy. As they stood in the crypt, the heroes pondered the implications of Kas's story and the potential of an ally whose very existence was wrapped in legend and betrayal. The heroes' path was clear. The time had come to marshal their strength, wisdom, and courage for the final confrontation with Dragotha. As they set forth from the crypt, the heroes carried with them not just the hopes of those they sought to protect, but the weight of history itself. The battle with Dragotha loomed large, a confrontation with darkness itself, where victory would mean light's triumph over the shadow that threatened to engulf the world. To death or to victory, the heroes stepped forward, united by a bond forged in the fires of adversity and strengthened by the resolve to end Dragotha's reign of terror. The final chapter of their saga was about to unfold, a testament to their bravery, sacrifice, and the indomitable spirit of those who fight not just for survival, but for the future.